this person, this presence, this whole way of understanding, being, living in this world, understanding who they are and what they're called to. And this one is about to be removed, and they don't know what will be left without him. Have you had such experiences? I have. And I've sat with many people who have. It's those times where it seems like the ground beneath us is shifting. Our world. Who are we now? So Jesus looks at them and says, and the Greek is more along the lines of trust, believe, trust me. Trust God, trust me. It's not intellectual assent. It's not a doctrine. Trust. The kind of thing we do with someone we love, we've come to know, we've experienced over the years. And it's the kind of trust that holds us in the dark, this faithfulness that accompanies us. We fall into it before we argue ourselves out of it. There's a different kind of knowing. It's kind of a letting go. The Buddhist teacher Pema Chodron calls this moment groundlessness. The feeling that the floor is giving way. Something unexpected happens. And Pema Chodron says, the path runs through it, not around it. Welcome. So this sense of abandonment, this inner churning, the Greek is more like a churning of the heart, a heart-wrenching experience that rises up in our bodies. We can't make it happen. It just seems to happen. It's the first step. We need to name it, that fear that we have, that fear beneath our fears, which points to our deepest needs, to be beloved, to be held, to never be abandoned, to know that we are loved, that there's a space for us, a room for us, with the light on. We have to name the fear first before we can hear anything else. So what do we do with this fear? So then Jesus goes on to say something we've been spending centuries, thousands of years wrestling with. It sounds like, I'm sorry to say this, Donald Trump selling real estate. In my Father's place there are many dwelling places, and I've got a place for you. But I don't think that's, we imagine golden mansions, but Jesus is talking about a different kind of geography here in John's Gospel. The place, the space, I think, that Jesus is pointing to in John's Gospel isn't somewhere else. It's right here, this moment, right now. Moments where we're fully present, like when Paula's family came and sat here. Could you feel it in your body? Yes, I could. We could feel it in our bodies. I could see it in Paula's body. before her mind tried to explain it. Something alive, real. Something near, here. And so the Greek word is mone, a staying place, this somewhere. It's not a hotel at night. It's a place where we're known, home, a room just for us, with a light on. There's room not only for us, there's room for everyone. Everyone. This is John's claim in the very first chapter, the prologue. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. The Word pitched a tent and lived with us in a world God loves. God moves in. God makes room. And the shock of the gospel isn't that Jesus is going away to build a house. It's that the house is already here. The room that we're most afraid of losing is already here, and the light is already lit. So Thomas, like most of us, is anxious. He wants something to hold on to, especially those moments, don't you? Who am I when I feel like I can't hold it together? I gotta hold on to something. Give me a map, give me a road, give me a way. Show me. Thomas asks questions in the other Gospels, and he gets parables. In this one, he asks for a map, and he gets a person. Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. And I think we make a lot of trouble for ourselves when we take those metaphors as doctrine rather than doorways, rather than a finger pointing toward the moon. This verse has been used for centuries to close doors, not by Jesus, not by the way of Jesus, but by institutions created in his name, by doctrines created in his name, I believe. I grew up hearing it that way. And something in my soul, my heart as a child knew that diminishes God. Why wouldn't everyone be welcome? What about the people that didn't know Jesus? Hear it instead as Jesus saying, hear it in the context in which he says it. He says it in the context, Jesus says, no one comes to the Father but through me. It's like, how can you understand love incarnate except through love incarnate? Follow me. And he says it in the context of, in my Father's house, there are many rooms and a room for you. So it's in the context of inclusivity. So this, how do we make sense of this through me? No one comes to the Father but through me. I don't think it means the right doctrine or the right institution. It means through this, kneeling down with a towel to wash your loved one's feet, preparing a meal to nourish them, grieving when your loved one dies, grieving not just in words but with your whole body. through this witness, through this embodiment. Through love that costs us something. Anyone walking this road, doing these things, is walking the way, the road that Jesus describes, whether they know his name or not. So Thomas doesn't hand Jesus a map. He hands Thomas himself. But the question underneath Thomas's question, who will I be without you, turns out to be the right question. Because the answer is, will be people who carry him. That's the vocation. It's not a job title. It's not a creed. Following in the ways of Jesus, that is the call. And we already have it. The question is whether we're listening for it or not, or only telling. And what is it that we're listening for? It isn't a private inner voice. It's the voice of one who already dwells in us. The same one who said, "Do not let your hearts be troubled." The one who knows our hearts are troubled, who's with us in that. The self that we've been trying so hard to protect isn't the self that needs protecting. But wow, does that constructed self fight. And what remains when we stop defending it was there before we started. Parker Palmer wrote the book that I'm inviting us to study, Letting Your Life Speak, starting May 13th. And he puts it this way, speaking directly, I think, to each of us. Before you tell your life what you intend to do with it, listen for what it intends to do with you. Most of us never stop telling. We tell our lives what they're for, what they must produce, what they must hold together. And we treat this calling as an achievement to sustain rather than a gift to inhabit. I know that pattern. I've spent years living that pattern. And we ask it, we're invited to ask not just as individuals, but collectively, like this community Skyline. What is Skyline's life? What is the us trying to say? What is Skyline's life trying to say? We must listen, and we don't do that alone. We do it together in this room. And sometimes it means we have to go through silence first. So many people go through decades finding out, living in a kind of a numb way, and then waking up one morning and realizing, why does any of it matter? I've talked with people like that. I've had experiences like that, and they can be the most terrifying moments, and also eventually the most honest. Because in that silence, we cannot fill. Something else fills it, settles us. It's not instruction. It's not a new plan. It's just I've called you by name. There's a place just for you. I know you fully, and you are my beloved. Home, a room, a light on, already there, waiting, if we just listen. That's the room calling us home. Philip asked for more. Lord, show us the Father, and we'll be satisfied. Jesus is patient. Have I been with you all this time, and you still don't know me? Whoever's seen me has seen the Father. John's Jesus doesn't so much point toward God or describe God or argue for God. He is the immediate encounter with God. That's what Philip is being told. And it's so hard to hear. Not hidden behind Jesus, visible if we could just see around him. There, present, kneeling, eating with people nobody else will eat with. Weeping at his friend Lazarus' tomb, not briefly, but with his entire body. This is what God looks like when God has a body. The world is still being saved by bodies. I am the way, the road of love, toward a house with room for everyone. I am the truth that's written into the structure of everything. That the sacred isn't somewhere apart from us, but in us, between us, among us, in everything, everywhere, holding everything. I am the light. Our Jewish ancestors called this Shalom Bayit, the peace of the home, the wholeness of choosing to dwell in loving kindness, even when it costs something. John's own epistle says it, if we love one another, God abides in us. Shalom. And then Jesus says something audacious. The one who trusts in me will also trust and do the works that I did. And in fact, will do greater works than these. Not equal, greater. It's audacious. It's not a consolation prize. We've shared so many stories here of those greater works. And right here in Oakland, I think about in 2019, the teacher strikes, because there were so many children that needed extra support and care, more counselors, smaller class sizes. 36,000 students stayed home for 7 days and won. Greater works. It's everywhere when we start to look for it. That is the good news. Love one another. Love everyone as I've loved you. And these greater works are only possible, I think, when we stop spending our energy in the sphere of disillusion, of losing what we think, or who we think we are. Our welcome in God isn't something we construct this morning and then have to reconstruct tomorrow. It's already present. And once that welcome takes root, we can stand in really hard places that just come with being alive. with our hands open instead of clenched. Not because the suffering gets lighter, but because we're dwelling in the room, in the house, because we are beloved, we are held. We all dissolve. We lose the people we love, the roles that held us, the versions of ourselves we thought were permanent. Most of us in this room know that. The fear is that when we come apart, we stay apart. There's nothing to dissolve into but absence. When a tablet dissolves in water, it disappears. The tablet is gone. We can't point to it. We can't hold it. But its presence hasn't diminished. It's everywhere. It's expanded. Every molecule of water carries it. We can't drink from that water without taking in the tablet. Jesus goes away not to be absent, but to be everywhere we turn. I'm going away and I am coming to you. Both sentences, same breath. The lamp was on the whole time. We know the way. We are, when we listen, the greater works. Amen. And let's just hold a moment of silence. And let us bring our joys and concerns before our God. And we all have received the tree of life and the prayers that are there. So this is our time if you want to lift up a prayer. We've got some microphones and the folks on Zoom as well. What prayers do you bring this morning? Sue. Yeah. Sue Ann, and then Ter. Okay, thank you.